All right, here we are, game week. It's been a while, long time coming. So it's exciting to kind of get down to the real thing now. So back into our in-season rhythm, and got a long stretch here. So just take it one game at a time, and looking forward to the challenge in Cincinnati. Can answer any questions you have.
Kirk, with the tight end group that you've got, how do you feel about moving forward without Irv and the current options you do have?
Yeah, it's a good group. I've been really impressed with what Chris and Ben have been able to do in such a short amount of time, picking up the system. I was marveling at it on Monday when we were talking with them and just how much they were already being able to process and handle. So they've done a great job.
It's only been a couple practices, but what does Chris do well that you like about him?
We need more time. He's done a great job, like I said, picking up the offense. I mean, that was really the first hurdle. So he has a good feel for what we're trying to do. And we do need more time to just kind of get the feel of how he's wired and what he does naturally well.
Kirk, when you look at the Bengals and the front they have, what kind of challenges does that present in protection?
It's a good front. I remember Trey last year with New Orleans, last couple of years that we've played them. He's been a very dynamic player. So, Hubbard as well, has done a nice job with them. And Reeder's been a really good nose in this league for a while. So they got some good players. And any of their young players, are another year better. I mean, I say about our team, how a young player coming on is, a different player than he was last year, but the same is true of the guys we're going against.
Do you pay attention to the new quarterbacks that come into the league like a Joe Burrow and kind of what they do well and what they don't, or are the new quarterbacks just out of sight, out of mind, and not something you have to worry about?
I think by nature of being in this league, you're just always studying tape, you're watching film, you're watching games, and so you just watch with an observant eye. It's hard for me to watch a game like I used to as a kid, as a fan of football. You watch it more as a student of the game and as a quarterback, so you're looking at it with a little bit more of a unique perspective. And he did a great job last year, the unfortunate injury, but between his college career and what he did as a rookie, he's off to a great start, and he's got a lot of great football ahead of him, I would guess.
So if you're home and it's like you're watching Monday Night Football, you're watching his 7-step drop or seeing how fast his release is or something like that?
Yeah, just how teams are handling protections, how they're handling pressures. Obviously you play these teams, so you may have played a team and what may have given you trouble, or going into a game, hey, that's going to give that team trouble. And then when you turn on the game, you're aware of it, and you're saying, I wonder how that's going to go. And so you just kind of watch it with a trained eye a little bit of how teams are handling things schematically and what they're asking their players to do and what they're, how they're trying to win.
Kirk, with having Riley protecting your blind side for 3 years, what was the process like in getting on the same page with Rashod over the last couple months?
Well, Rashod's been here really since I've been here, so it's been a lot of time on task together, even though he wasn't always in the huddle with us. Like week 17 last year, he played in place of Riley being out. So, and there have been a lot of moments throughout my previous 3 seasons here where I've played with Rashod and kind of been in that fire together. So, I think the fact that we've had that time on task is it's different than when you lose a player like Riley and you have to replace him with someone truly brand new, and I think that's a positive.
What are the challenges that like a safety tandem like Jesse Bates and Von Bell present to you as a quarterback?
Yeah, really good safety combo. Bates is, he's still a young player in this league, but he's one of the elite safeties, and he's done a great job, put a lot of good stuff on tape. And Von Bell, played against him in New Orleans. Again, very experienced player, very quality football player, versatile player, can tackle, can cover, can play the post. And so, I think that's a real strong point on their football team is their safeties.
That versatility, does it present some challenges when it comes to like identifying coverages, pre-snap and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think anytime a player can do more, on offense or defense, tight end position, the fullback position, the tailback position, and same on defense, if you can ask a lot of a player, you can certainly hide and not be as predictable of what you're trying to do.
Kirk, do you offer more suggestions to a younger, inexperienced offensive coordinator as opposed to an older, experienced guy who's won a Super Bowl?
I think I hear what you're saying. I think you offer up suggestions when you feel like one is needed or that you have merit to a thought. I don't know that I would quiet down because this guy's been around the block more, or I would speak up more just because it's his first year being a coordinator. I think it's more just, hey, I have a thought here, what do you think, and bounce it off of him. What I've experienced now with Clint over the last few months is just because we were in the quarterback room together for the last 2 years and had so much time conversing, watching film, I don't find a need to say as much to him because he already knows where I'm coming from. He already knows what I'm thinking to a great degree, and I think that's been valuable.
What would you say I mean, it's early enough to ask this, but what's going to be the biggest difference between Clint and Garrett?
I think it is early. I think it's difficult to say, because it is so similar. That's kind of where my mind goes. I've always felt that, even if the offense is similar, as I've had different coordinators through the years, it's just a different person. So your interpersonal dynamics of how you converse or how you go about it might be a little different. But I think ultimately the scheme is consistent.
Is there anything you can take from your experience with Kevin Stefanski about working with a first-time play caller?
I was with Sean McVay when he was young. I think basically a first-time play caller, I guess you could say. And then with Kevin and now with Clint, I think you just, it's such a small sample size early. Kind of the preseason's that way where you have one preseason game and you're kind of, that's all you really have to go off of being evaluated. And then same with early in this season is, after one game or two games, it's different than when you have a body of work to look at over 17 games. So, you just kind of play the course, and what ended up happening with Kevin and our offense over a longer season was very different than what happened after 1, 2, 3, 4 games. So there's a little bit of not even trying to write a story or take a picture too early and kind of just let things play out on a bigger sample size.
Shared, I guess, institutional knowledge from somebody who was in your position room to now being your coordinator. Does that give you more autonomy within what you want to do in the offense, about what you want to do maybe at the line, things like that?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of an ongoing conversation of, hey, what do we want to do here? What do you like? And then many times if I ask a question, he'll return it with a question. Well, what do you like? And so there's just kind of an ongoing dialogue. And that really goes back even 2 years to the conversations we've had on so many different meetings and getting a feel for how we want this thing to look. And obviously personnel changes, affect that too. You lose a guy or you have an injury, you have to think through, okay, now what do we look like with those changes?
You guys haven't had the Septembers that you've wanted over the past couple of years. Is there anything you can kind of learn from those slow starts and apply to this year as you try to start faster?
Yeah, I do think there is an awareness of an importance to start fast. And it's a lot of different variables, and those variables change from year to year, but there's no doubt we want to start fast, need to start fast.
Kirk, when you have a receiver like KJ that you got chemistry with, how do you carry that over from what you did in training camp, preseason, and then on to the regular season?
I think you just go out and play. You put the work in, you prepare. You have great focused practices that have a lot of intent to them, and then you just go play the game. And you don't overthink it, you don't overplan it, and if, as I've always kind of said, who gets the ball more in one game or one quarter, it may just be by chance, it may be by play design, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of guys we trust to make plays, and where the ball goes from time to time, sometimes out of our control, because if the defense coverages dictate it, then, a guy who's doing a really good job you may not see a lot of just because the team took him away. But it doesn't change the fact that we have a lot of confidence in him, and I think with KJ, whether he's a big piece of week 1 or week 2 or smaller piece, we know that what he's done, what he can do, and how much he's improved, and that's exciting.
In the weeks now that you've had practicing against Patrick Peterson, where does his experience show up the most when you're on the field with him?
Corner is such a position of athleticism and confidence, and he has those things in spades. And so, he's also a very strong player. I don't think he gets beat up physically. I think if anything, he can take the fight to someone in coverage, and I think that is a great trait to have as a corner. Smart player, just an aware player. It's hard to fool him, and I think that it's kind of the combination of factors: athleticism, intelligence, physicality that kind of combines to make you a great player on defense.